to me. And so the warrior in me is here to bring light to that, so that any of you that are done participating in this will take your power back, and you'll go into meditation. You'll thank your guides for clearing these programs, clearing these implants. If you don't know how to do it on your own, call me. I will help you. That is what I'm here doing. And we aren't going to play victim anymore. Let's all take our power back and realize that as we do, we can collectively shift into this beautiful golden era where we all really are thriving, because we're not letting our energy fields be harvested from anymore. A great movie to watch is Cloud Atlas, and it's an amazing film that shows, and the same people that made The Matrix made Cloud Atlas, and they are freaking channeling truth. I am telling you, they are they are tuned in. And in Cloud Atlas, they also show this woman, and she's the one, like I am on my internet show, she's speaking truth all the time about what's going on. People don't want to know what's going on, and so through the lifetimes as she was speaking the truth, later they look at her like she's this goddess that had all this insight. But at the time that she was speaking, no one was really listening, because everyone was operating according to the programming. And there's a lot of consequence to that. And so I encourage you to watch that movie as well, The Matrix, Cloud Atlas, and watch her. She's the Asian woman, I can't remember her name, but she basically starts to understand the truth of how they are harvesting the people that she is. Like, they're using them and they're feeding themselves to each other. And it's really gross. And like The Matrix, when you see what's really going on and why the people are, being harvested for their energy, and like these machines are taking over, it's all sci-fi sounding, but there's some real truth to it. There's some truth to what's going on galactically on our planet and how we're being affected. And there are many of us who, they're not going to want to listen to someone like me, and they can say, oh, she's a nut, and just discount everything I'm saying as they go right back into the programming because they like it. Ignorance is bliss, right? I don't agree. I think ignorance is not bliss. I've played in the place of ignorance, and I've participated in the programmings, and it has not felt good, and it didn't feel right. And each of you listening to me, if you just tune into that, something just sometimes just doesn't feel right. Like when I'm going to the doctor and there's all this pharmaceutical stuff and they're always trying to get me on new medicine, something doesn't feel right about that. Yes, start questioning that. Start taking your power back. Stop going to others outside of you, needing your answers, needing your solutions, needing them to give you a fix. Start tuning in and getting that inner awareness and that inner shift, and you will break free. I promise. But it's going to take awareness. It's going to take you and every bit of you coming to the forefront. It's no more playing, victim where it requires nothing. Like I said, that's easy fix. Oh, I don't have to do anything. I can just sit around. I can complain. I can be negative and grumpy and be the Eeyore, the Eeyore energy with everything. Or I could actually take my power back. I could step into it. I could open my eyes and I could start claiming my own divinity back. And I could start to change my movie, love myself. And next thing I know, I'm being loving to everyone around me. I can't help it because I'm so happy and I'm so full of life. That is our natural state. So any of you watching, if you've been depressed and grumpy and feeling less than, and you are under control of the program, and just start to question that, start to tune in. That is what this show's about, is just to get you to at least have some seeds dropped so that you start questioning. That's really my job. Was he satisfied with that answer, by the way?
He didn't say anything yet.
Okay, so let me know, Pegasus, what you think about that.
In the meantime, Bernard said, ignorance is bliss. Yeah, no, not fun.
No, it's not. And we've got this statement that ignorance is bliss, but it's really just ignorance. and ignorance leads to insanity. Like if we look back at, how, like I was watching the movie Risen with my beloved, and it's about Christ, and it's about the Jews and the Romans and like what all was going down at that time in history. And I was like, it's interesting because the Jews, they're like fighting and they're saying this is the one God, and they're getting people that are their enemies from that. And then years later, like it shows in the movie, it's kind of graphic, and it shows them killing these Jews, and they're throwing their bodies in this pit and they're just rotting. And I was like, how interesting that we replay these programs again and again, because, jump ahead years and years later, and we see the same situation playing out in World War II, and they're throwing Jews' bodies in chambers, gassing them. And this is insanity. And so the ignorance is bliss. We've got to delete that belief system, because in truth, ignorance is insanity, and ignorance leads to insane acts, and humans justify their insanity day in and day out because they are operating under programming. They're operating under these implants and this inner programming in their ethereal bodies, their minds. They don't question. They don't own up to what feels right or wrong. They just follow leaders that are not aligned. I placed a picture of Caesar Milan on Facebook today. I shared it, and he said something like, humans are the only species that will follow misaligned leaders. And I was like, yes, it is so true. Whereas like animals, an animal's the pack leader and they're off, the animals will not follow. They'll break out and they'll create their new pack. And that animal has to figure itself out and get stabilized, because the whole health and wholeness of the pack relies on the stability and the alignment of the leader. And so in humans, I watch this daily, how humans will not question and they will just follow blindly with misaligned leaders. I look at what's going on in our country right now with this whole political campaign of, who's going to be president. And I observe the programming. I observe how humans that really believe certain humans could run the country better, and then they'll immediately say, oh, but they won't get in. It'll all be rigged, or that one's going to get in. I'm like, that's the program. And like, they don't even question it. They don't even understand how they're operating under the program. So the whole intention of the show today is to get you all to start paying attention and start questioning the programs in your own minds. Start questioning how much you're participating, and if you want to do that anymore, or if you'd rather take back your power and stop playing out the ignorance is bliss loop, and realize that ignorance is leading to insanity, and the consequence of that insanity is growing. Like, as humans play the insane games longer and longer, the consequence of that insanity grows daily. And so do we all really want that consequence? Do we want to keep playing victims? Like in the movie Femarllc, are we going to keep feeding the program of doom and gloom? Or are we going to take our power back and we're going to start saying, well, what can we do to change it? What is the solution? These are the questions to ask. Stop putting energy into the program of doom and gloom. Start saying, what is the solution? I am calling for the solution. Thank you, universe, for the solution. Thank you, universe, for the highest solution, for the highest and best of all. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the understanding. Thank you for the perfect miracle for this situation. Thank you for the wholeness. This is what we should be calling for. This is our divinity. As ascended masters, we know that laws of attraction are in effect. So we're going to call forth that alignment. We're not going to operate according to programming of doom and gloom, because that is the exact opposite of what we want to create. So, like I said, if we're creating from that unconsciousness, we're creating insanity. We are creating suffering. We are creating poverty. We are creating lack, woundedness, brokenness, you name it. But when we are coming into alignment and we are self-realized and we are responsible with our own power and our own thinking, because all of it starts with thinking. If I am not conscious and I am not powerful with my own thinking, and I don't claim those creations of thought as my own, then I allow the thinking to run my life. That is the program. So now a program is looping in my mind and it is running me. That's scary to me. And this is why Tanya won't allow that to happen, why I've done my work to call back my power. I won't loop with that. But if you've been doing it, don't be angry at yourself or don't judge yourself. Just go, whoa, I can sense what she was talking about. It's happening. Okay, I'm ready to clear this. I have every power, every ability to clear anything from my energy field that I did not give permission to. And even if I did, if I gave it permission unconsciously or consciously, in whatever dimension of time, space, or reality, I revoke that permission and I clear this now in all directions of time. Like, use your power take your power back, clear these programs, and watch how we start to clear the program of the main matrix of humanity. Like, think of it like the way the collective is operating is a program. So in order for us to clear that and shift it, we each have to be accountable with how we're participating in it. And as we are accountable, and as we call back our power, I'm so pumped right now. As we call back our power, we will actually assist in clearing on the collective. So if you watch my last couple shows on spiritual alchemy, I gave you the exact recipe. Go watch those shows again. Go to YouTube, follow me under Tanya Love, and watch those shows again. Spiritual Alchemy 1 and 2. That is the recipe of how we start cleaning on things. We don't resist things. We don't get angry and just hate things. We realize that whatever comes, if we resist it and we hate on it, we actually keep it in our field. We kind of like magnetically just hold it. So as things come into our movie and we start to see it, we love it. We accept it. I am so sorry for participating for so long. I am so sorry. Please forgive me for all the times I've played out in a program and I've harmed myself and others. Thank you for this moment of time that has arrived right now so that I could clean this and clear this from the program. I love you. And you love self so completely. You love the other who, sorry, I have to move my legs. You love the other who is also a reflection of self that came in to assist in bringing this program to the light. So we want to be proactive and we want to be focused on solution. That's the whole ascended mastery path. Ascended mastery, you call it Jedi, whatever word you want to give it. We do not play victims and we don't focus on problem. We focus on solution. So a big part of how you can see how far you've come in your evolution as like a learning empath to an empowered empath to an ascended master is how much am I participating in programming? Do I feel victimized? Do I feel like a victim? Do I feel empowered? Am I calling for a solution or am I focused upon problem? That's going to tell you a lot about where you are so that you can be very aware and then you can get yourself where you want to be. You can be more and more accountable, more and more empowered, and that is going to be your path to ascended mastery. So any comments coming in, Amnon?
Pegasus answered your question. Said yes, thank you. You did answer his question.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. So this one last thing I was going to read to you. Do I have time to read a couple pages, Amnon? Since we kind of had a little bit of the show get interrupted.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you feel okay. Keep sending love to Amnon, guys, because he's been having this cough, so we want to send love that clears out. So it's a couple pages, and I'm going to be interviewing this author very soon, coming in March. I can't remember exactly the date. I think it's March 12th or 13th, whatever that Sunday is. But her book is called The Propelled Heart, and it looks like this. And it's by Dr. Tony Luisa Rivera. And I'm going to be interviewing her in March. So if you guys want to tune in to listen to that interview. One thing with this book, as I've been reading it, I've just been like, oh my God, this is like reading my own journal. It is like so much of what this woman has gone through, I've gone through. So much of what led her to be a healer led me to be a healer. So much of what she had to learn about loving herself, I've had to learn about loving myself. It's so profoundly synchronistic that it's like reading my own pages. It's really amazing. But there's this one page that I want to read. And the way she describes source energy is she calls it a message from the red cloud. Now, mind you, this is her interpretation of how higher self filtered through her in consciousness to guide her. So I just want to read this to you because this is so true, but it may come through you in its own way. You may not call it the red cloud. For me, I call it source or I call it higher self. And I see it in different colors. So I just want to read this because what she shares is so profound. And I feel like it's a great way to end the show today of a solution of how we look within and how we allow source to move in, how we give ourselves permission to allow source to move through so that we stop getting in the way. Because in order for us to heal and in order for us to clear this programming that I'm talking about today, we